How's it going today, everybody? Welcome back to Troy's Hobbies. Today we are back with something really special. We have the brand new LOSI LMT Gravedigger 10th scale monster truck. This is really cool. I'm super excited. I've been waiting a long time for this truck to come out. I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well. You've seen a lot of the teasers on a lot of the other channels. A lot of the big channels have already gotten this truck and unboxed it. But this is going to be my first chance to see the truck up close and really get my hands on it. And I wanted to share that with you guys. So let's crack open the box and see what we get in this giant truck. Let's get into this. All right, before we open up the truck, I just wanted to give a special shout out to the guys at Hobbytown up in Longmont, Colorado. Chris, Gary, Aaron, all you guys, thanks a lot for giving me the information that I needed on this truck and everything before I got out of the store. I appreciate it a lot. And let's get this thing open. Thanks a lot, guys. Oh, here we go. Oh man, this is a huge box. Oh. Ooh. Oh, this is crazy. All right, get this box out first. I'm sure this has your transmitter and everything in it right here. But this. Oh. Oh. Let me set this down for a second. Get the box out of the way first. Back in here. Alright, get that thing out of the way. That was awkward. Oh man. You guys, this thing is insane. Look at it. LOSI LMT Gravedigger. Oh man. You guys. Do you have any idea how long I've waited for a legit RC monster truck on the market? Finally. Oh, let's take this cover off. Oh man. Man, how nice does that look? Let's get up close. Okay, let's go over some of the things that are included in the truck. We'll start with the transmitter. Right here we have the Spectrum. It's the DX3. This is the really nice new Spectrum controller. I really enjoy it. It actually feels a lot in my hand. Feels a lot like the old Tactic controllers used to. So that's really nice. It has an A and B function switch right here. So I don't know, a little hint, but that might make for a really nice rear steer switch in the future. So just something to think about, that little toggle switch right on the side. Really nice touch there, Spectrum. I actually really like that. On the top of the controller here, we have a throttle rate control, so you can turn it down or up depending on the user. You have 100%, 75%, 50%. That way you can immediately turn down your throttle if you hand over the controls to somebody else that is less experienced. And then you have your reverse switches. And then you have your battery light indicator if you're running these smart batteries. I'm not sure if I'll be able to have that function with the batteries that I'm choosing to run in the truck, but if you're running the smart batteries with the truck, you will have that full function as well. So you'll be able to monitor your battery life as you go along. On the side of the controller, let me take a look here really fast. The bind button is right there. If you ever need the bind button, if you need to have an issue with that. I know a couple of guys have been having issues with the bind functions out of the truck. So that's where that's located. On the top here, on all the rate knobs, it starts here with the steering rate. Then we have the brake rate, which you can turn up or down for stopping power or for freestyle tricks. Like a lot of guys are doing like stoppies and moonwalks, things like that with the truck. So that's a really useful function for things like that. And then you have your standard steering trim and throttle trim. So that's a good look at the DX3. Nice new controller from Spectrum. I really like it. Really nice hand and feel. Yeah, look forward to see how this thing functions. Let's see, what else do we have? We get an extra little dongly rubber battery strap for I'm assuming that's for a larger battery. Here we go. Bag of goodies. Here we go. You have your battery posts, or sorry, not battery posts, body posts, a few extra little plastic bits, and then some rear standoffs for your rear axles for a different tow out, I think is what that's for, or tow in maybe. So that's nice. That's included in the bag. Pretty nice. Cool. Last thing I wanted to take a look at here is the manual itself. I think it's really important for people to go over their manuals, especially when it's a new vehicle. Luckily, the manual for this truck has actually been available online on the LOSI website for some time now. So if you guys did your research, the manual has been online for about 3 months. So you have had plenty of opportunity to go through this in detail. And go through the manual and look at everything in great, in close up. So I already know a lot of what's in this manual because I looked on the website and have been studying over the truck over the last couple of months. But if it's new to you, definitely go over what's included in the bag. It's really, really, really vital information. You have everything from your radio setup to programming. And then you have like your exploded diagrams for your repairs and things like that, as well as spare parts and warranty information. All of that is included in this manual. So it's really, really important for people to go through this and really get familiar with their trucks. So nice manual, really nice manual from LOSI. It's really detailed, but it is also online on the LOSI website. So if you lose this, it's still available. So that's a look at what comes included in the truck. There are also 4 AA's included for the transmitter, which I've already put in there. So we'll just move on to the next part of the video. Let me show you guys really quick how to get into the truck and flip the body up. That's a really, really simple design. It's just 4 body pins. You start with the 2 here on the front, right underneath the front grille. Just pull those out. And you kind of flip it up here underneath the cage. And there's 2 more. Right there. And right there. Once you take those out, up comes the body. And it flips open just like that for easy access to everything you need to look at in the truck. Okay, let's take a look at some of the specs on this truck. So right here you see the Spectrum Firma. This is 130 amp ESC. Has these crazy new IC5 connectors with the smart battery technology, but you can also use EC5s or any combination of adapters, which I'm going to show you right here. The adapters that I will use for the batteries that I have currently until I switch over to smart technology. I have an EC5 to EC3 for those types of batteries. Then I also have the IC5 to a Dean's that I had custom made at the hobby shop. Again, big shout out to those guys at Hobbytown in Longmont. So thanks for them making that for me. I appreciate it. So that'll allow me to run any battery that I have virtually with this truck without any kind of issues. Here's a look at the battery strap design. It's just a simple hinge style, but there's a little, like a flap down here that you kind of get your hand kind of underneath, like that. And it pops right out. Then to reattach, just grab it from underneath, like that. And it goes right back to being where it needs to be, and nice and snug. It's a really nice design. Hopefully that'll hold up in the long run. Let's see. Take a look at the front of the truck here. Flip the body up really fast. Go to the front of the truck here. Take a look at this servo. There we go. That is the, it's a 23 tooth spline servo. It is the X614S. That's the model number on that servo if you guys need to find that. And there's a look at the servo saver on the truck. Again, it's a 23 tooth spline. So you can either replace it with aftermarket servos and a different servo saver, or you will have to find a servo with a 23 tooth spline to replace your truck with. Not a big deal. The Spectrum stuff is sold all over the place, so that shouldn't be a big problem. Moving on, you guys can see the headlights on the truck here. The molded in headlights. Those do plug in with an LED, and they're very, very bright, nice and red. You can see some of the other details. We've got a little molded plastic driver in here. There he is. Little Dennis Anderson in there, or Adam Anderson nowadays. So shout out to those guys. Those guys are always really cool. You can follow those two, Ryan and Adam, on social media. So, you know, give those guys a shout out and follow those guys. They're really cool dudes. And they have the best job on the planet. So, you know, that's pretty badass. So, all right. Let's take a look at these shocks. I think that's kind of next on the list here. These things are very long travel shocks. About the same, I would say close in length to the SMT10 as far as overall length of the shock design, but it has more travel. I would say it definitely has a few millimeters more travel. There's a look at the sway bar. One thing you're going to want to do with these sway bars here is you're going to want to put a dab of thread lock on those. I have had the guys on some of the other channels talk about that already, and they said that it can back out, you know, and it's not a big deal. It's just one of those things that happens with RC cars. You can't always have thread lock on every little bit. So just go over your truck, throw a little dab of blue thread lock on there, and you'll be all good. All right, let's take a look at these axles up close. Here you can start with these 17 millimeter hex, which is a new kind of design on monster trucks. Traditionally, a lot of the big 10th scale monster trucks were still using a 12 millimeter hex with a specific offset. And the new style LOSI wheels, if you look here, have like the regular front but it has the offset style back like a buggy or a truggy. So, which is good for a lot of things, I believe. It's going to actually perform better over time. I think that monster truck tires should definitely transition to this style design. They're sturdier. The 17 millimeter hex is beefier, so it holds up to more stress, and you're less likely to round out those hex holes. So I think that this is the design that we should kind of strive for going forward. This is a good idea. I really don't see too much of a problem with it, other than maybe, an aftermarket company doing like bead locks or aluminum rims, or, going nuts with it. And, somebody's going to come out with some tires. That's going to happen. So we'll expect to see some tires. I'll expect to see some different rims and different options for that in the future. This will be interesting to see where the monster trucks go from here, just because of this wheel design. I mean, this is a brand new wheel design all by itself. So there's LOSI doing some innovation right there. All right, so these axle housings are a thing that people have been talking about. They seem to be really, really, really strong overall. They do have a particular weak point somewhere around this area. It seems like that they're going to have like a weak point and potentially break. These kingpins right here are also an issue. I know that Tony over on CCXRC has had these back out on him several times. If you look right in there, there's a little set screw that goes in. Now the problem with that is it threads into plastic, but it butts up against something metal, so you can't really use thread lock on it without destroying the plastic. So it's kind of an issue. So what he was talking about is whenever the wheel is connected, this little grub screw hole right here on the front is covered by the wheel, and you have no access to keep that pin tight. And that's how he's losing those pins. So something to check literally every run, you guys. Take your wheels off, tighten down your kingpins. So that's just going to be a thing we watch on these trucks. We'll see if the aftermarket does something about that as well. Be interesting to see what kind of innovations come out. Here's a look at the links. They do look plastic on the outside. They are plastic on the outside, but they do have a metal truss running through them. So it is stronger than it looks. So that's really nice. And the internals of the axle are really, really something to write home about. They have the 8 scale diffs, and these really, really beefy, thick axles in there that can actually take some real abuse. So no more cracking wheels off and snapping axle housings as quickly. We will be adding axle braces to both trucks. I want to get both sets of the designs that are out on the market right now. So I want to get the carbon fiber ones and the plastic molded ones, and I'll test them up against each other just to see what's going to hold up long term. So you guys can look forward to that on this truck as well. All right, one more thing to note on the axle design that you do need to know that's different than most other 10th scale trucks is it uses this 8mm nut driver on the hex hubs. So if you want to take the wheel off, a regular T-wrench isn't going to fit. You need an 8mm. All right, you guys, there's a look at the Spectrum Firma. It's the 3660 can 3150 kV motor. That's a 4-pole brushless motor. Here's a look at the side plate and the access to the transmission here. So you have 3 bolts on the bottom here, and then you also have 1 bolt there on the top. And that cover comes off and gives you access to the gears and allows you to change your pinion and things like that. So it's a really easy access to change your gearing and things like that on this truck, just like a real monster truck. Real monster trucks have a quick change drop box that's actually pretty similar to this in design. a few more bolts than this, but you can actually change the gearing out on a real monster truck pretty quick as well. So in theory, this works in a similar fashion. There you see the molded headers, the exhaust pipes, if you want to call them that. And then you have the sponsor plate with all the decals on it there. It's really, really nice for some detail. Another thing that I really wanted to talk about here are these lower links. These lower links are huge. They're like almost 9 millimeters thick. The upper and lower links both. And they have a rod end to match. Now, maybe on video, it's pretty deceptive. But let me just grab another rod end here real quick, and I'll show you kind of the scale of these next to a typical size rod end. All right, just to give you all some scale on the size of these links on the truck, this is a standard Traxxas turnbuckle. That is a turnbuckle off of a Stampede. Look at how tiny it looks compared to this gigantic linkage. Here's another link. I believe this is something you can find on a lot of crawlers or stuff like that. It's about the same size as like the TRX4 link. Look how small it is compared to the link on this truck. I mean, that should give you some idea on the scale and the size of these links on this truck. So that used to be a weak point on the SMT10 and the other racing monster trucks and stuff like that come out. The rod ends and the links themselves are a weak point, but these things are huge. Like, they're just gigantic. So it'll be interesting to see what these things actually take to break. All right, so the last little bit I want to go over is pretty much just the wheelie bar here. It's a really nice heavy molded wheelie bar. It goes right into the vertical twin plates on the chassis. This whole chassis is, I believe it comes apart in 3 pieces or maybe 6. I think it's 6 total plates, but it's a 3-piece design on each side, but it's a twin vertical plate. So you have 2 vertical sides and everything attaches to them in the middle. And that's kind of how the chassis design works. And then this just bolts right onto the back. On my roller, I'm going to be removing mine. Just because of the body style that I'm going to be running. I don't really want the roll bar interfering with the body design that I have. I'm going to keep that under wraps until I get my roller, which you guys will also be seeing on the channel here in the future. But for now, oh man, that's going to be a first look at the brand new LOSI LMT monster truck. So thanks a lot to Hobbytown here in Longmont. I really appreciate you guys. This has been Troy's Hobbies. Give everything a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you all next time. Later. Guys, I'm going to need a bigger table. Check this out. All right. Here's a good size comparison for you guys. Fully built. This is the LOSI. Gonna move stuff out of the way here really quick. And a fully built LOSI. That's the SMT10. Right next to each other. Now the SMT10 does have axle wideners, so it does sit a lot wider than a normal one, but they're almost identical in size. It's got these big giant tires on it that I got from someone, but the trucks are virtually identical in size. So if you guys wanted to see like a size comparison, there it is. Let's see what happens, guys. Oh boy. Wow. Wow, this thing is going to be fast, but it's also really, really smooth. Man, I was expecting those metal gears to be way more harsh than that. Yep, this truck's awesome. This truck is ridiculously awesome. Look at those headlights. Look at that steering. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Way to go, LOSI. Man, you guys killed it. This truck is crazy.